Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Zach's Credit Card Guide. So as we covered a few weeks ago, and as you're probably aware, the annual fee on the Chase Sapphire Reserve has gone up from $450 to $550 a year. Now that that's in effect, a lot of us who hold this card at some point are going to have a decision to make, and that's if we're going to keep it and just swallow that higher annual fee. I will find myself in that position later this year, so I've started to think about what I'm going to do and what my strategy will be going forward. So I've started looking for alternatives if I do decide to downgrade my Sapphire Reserve. What other card can I use to take its place? And one contestant that I discovered may surprise you, and that is the new Amex Green Charge Card. Now, stick with me. I do think there is a case for this replacing your Sapphire Reserve. So first, let's walk through some of the differences and see how these cards compare to each other. So first, the welcome bonus. Right now, publicly available on the Amex Green is 30,000 membership rewards points for $2,000 in spend in the first 3 months. That's typically what you'll see. You can try referral links and incognito mode to maybe catch a 45,000 offer, which is what I would recommend holding out for unless you're in a hurry to get the card. If you do want to try that, my referral link is down in the description. The offer that's pretty much always available on the Sapphire Reserve is 50,000 points for $4,000 in spend in the first 3 months. So if we value Amex points at around the same as UR points, they're basically the same. Of course, there's always different use cases and everything, but for the most part, they're valued at around 1.5 cents a piece. So we can see that especially if you get the 45,000 on the Amex Green, that is pretty comparable, especially considering that you only have to spend half as much. Now, the second difference is quite obviously the annual fee, and this is one of the biggest differences and I think a huge selling point for the Amex Green. As you know, the Sapphire Reserve fee is $550 a year going forward. The annual fee on the Amex Green is just $150. So right there, not everybody has $550 to cough up all at once just to pay for one annual fee. Yes, you get a lot of it back later in the year, but the point stands that you still have to part with $550 all at once with the Sapphire Reserve. With the Amex Green, it's $150, which may be a lot more manageable for some folks. Another difference is there is no additional charge for authorized users on the Amex Green, where the Sapphire Reserve is $75 a piece. Now, like we just talked about, the points and everything else, Amex has membership rewards points, which the Amex Green accrues, and Chase has their UR points. Both are basically the same in how they operate. It really just depends on if you want to use travel partners, and if so, which ones. And that may be a key determining factor for me and probably you. Do you like the transfer partners with Amex or Chase? Do you not care? Is either one good? That part's up to you. You'll just have to look at the different transfer partners to see which matters most. But these are both wild card points that you can transfer out to partners. You can use for the bank's internal travel portal. They're just different. And with that, both can be an integral part of a system. So right now I run a Chase system that revolves around the Sapphire Reserve because you need an annual fee paying card with Chase to transfer out to partners. I've decided that the Sapphire Reserve was going to be it for me. So around that, I've got the Sapphire Reserve, the Freedom Unlimited, and the Freedom. Those are really the three key trifecta cards for Chase. With the Amex Green, you can do the same thing. There's tons of different cards over the Amex side that earn membership rewards points. The best one is the Blue Business Plus, which gets 2 membership reward points on everything, and it's no annual fee. It is a business card, but it's pretty easy to get approved for those. Now, the Amex Green gets 3 points per dollar on travel and dining. That may sound familiar because that's exactly what the Sapphire Reserve gets. So you could easily swap this in. Now you're switching from Visa to American Express, but as far as bonus categories, the cards are identical. And Amex has a pretty broad definition of travel, just like Chase. And just like Chase and Visa, now Amex gets these bonus categories worldwide, where that wasn't always the case. So as far as earning the points rather than being different currencies, they're pretty similar between the Amex Green and the Sapphire Reserve. Now, one thing about cards like the Sapphire Reserve, these high annual fee cards, one thing that generally makes them worth holding on to is the benefits that come along with it. Now, the Amex Green really tries to hold its own in this space despite having a much lower annual fee. So where cards like the Sapphire Reserve have the Priority Pass membership, where you can get into different lounges, and many like the Sapphire Reserve allow you to bring in a certain number of guests for free, unlimited visits per year, things like that. I personally have gotten really used to that benefit, even though we are starting to see in a lot of Priority Pass lounges, there have been caps on capacity and it can be difficult to get into certain lounges. Overall, this is a fantastic benefit. If you find yourself on a long layover, you get to the airport early, you can go into a lounge, try to escape for a little bit, find some comfortable seating, maybe an outlet to plug in your devices, have some snacks, all that cool stuff. So lounges are awesome, and that is a major selling point of a card like the Sapphire Reserve. Now, the Amex Green has something similar, although not quite as good, but remember the annual fee is $400 cheaper. The Amex Green comes with a benefit through Lounge Buddy, which is a membership kind of like Priority Pass, where it encompasses a lot of different lounges, and you just get a $100 credit annually to use to access these lounges. So it is a paid entry each time for each person coming in, but the first $100 is included in your annual membership year, which if you use all of it, that annual fee comes from $150 to $50. And a lot of times the entrance fees is around $25 per person to get into the lounge. But to think about it easily, just think that you have roughly 4 entries per year included with the card. Now, another nice travel benefit that comes with cards like the Sapphire Reserve is the Global Entry / pre-check program. Cards like the Sapphire Reserve will often give you a credit to cover global entry or pre-check. Always get global entry though, because it includes pre-check, which allows you entrance into a different security line, and you get to go through much looser, more friendly security at the airport, where you don't have to go into the microwave machine and all that cool stuff. So again, pre-check is an awesome benefit. Depending on your airport though, sometimes a pre-check line can be longer than the normal line. The Amex Green does not come with that particular benefit, but they do give you a heavy discount on a Clear membership. Now, Clear is a private organization, and basically the point of them, when you go to the airport, think about that first line, basically the longest part of going through security. All they're doing at that first part is verifying your identity. That's it. That's the entire point of that first line. You're just waiting to get up to the TSA, hand them your boarding pass and an ID. They check both and say, yep, that's you, and they let you through. That's all they do at that first part. What Clear does is take the place of that. So they have their certified people standing by the kiosk. Now they use some biometric information, like they scan your eyeballs and your fingerprints and everything, so you have to be comfortable with a third party having access to that sensitive information, but they verify your identity and then just walk you straight to the front of the line, because there's no point in waiting, because that part has been satisfied now. They've verified you are who you are, and they let you through into security. So that could be powerful when tied with maybe you can get global entry through a different card, because there's a lot of cards offering that, and a lot of them have really low annual fees. Now, an annual Clear membership costs $179, and this card gives you a $100 credit towards that. So the most you're going to have to pay is like $79, but there are ways to get further discounts on that through airlines like United and Delta. Even having a really low status with airlines like that can get you another discount on Clear, bringing it down to even like $119, which paired with the $100 credit on this card, you could be paying like $20 a year for this, which, depending on how much you travel, might be worth skipping that initial part of the line. So again, while you don't get global entry or pre-check with this card, you might be able to get it pretty inexpensively somewhere else and pair this benefit up with that to really supercharge and streamline your check-in process at the airport. Now, I can't help but talk about this benefit, my favorite benefit of credit cards, only because it's saved my rear more than once: trip delay coverage. In 2017, 2018, I had such bad luck on the East Coast. Pretty much every time I touched the East Coast, I was guaranteed to have an overnight weather-related delay, and it was pretty ridiculous for a while there. But I've had to use trip delay 4 times now, and it has saved me 4 figures easily in meals, overnight costs, everything else. And it's all thanks to the excellent travel coverage on my Sapphire Reserve. When there is a delay of 6 hours or more, or an overnight delay, the Sapphire Reserve will cover up to $500 per person in those costs. So lodging, meals, there even is some coverage for like incidentals. So maybe you're a consultant or you work and you have your laptop, but you packed your charger in your check bag and you can't get to that overnight because the airline doesn't want to dig it out for you. Maybe you need to buy a charger. There are ways to get stuff like that even covered. So trip delay is an amazing benefit, and I would never buy an airline ticket with a card that doesn't have this benefit. Now the Amex Green does have trip delay coverage, but it's not as comprehensive, so this is something that you're going to have to weigh. The Amex Green only covers up to $300, and the delay has to be 12 hours or more. Also, you are limited to 2 claims per year. So this is something that you're going to have to weigh. A lot of this comes down to how often you travel and what you're comfortable with. What's nice about the coverage on the Sapphire Reserve is just that it's more comprehensive. The delay is down to 6 hours, where the Amex Green is a whole 12, which is a pretty significant delay. So even if you're delayed 10 hours, you're not getting any coverage with the Amex Green, where you would be covered on the Sapphire Reserve. So something to think about there, but the benefit itself is available on both cards. So the bottom line, when you get all down to it, the Amex Green is a competitive option to the Sapphire Reserve, and the annual fee is a lot more attractive, especially if you take into account some of the credits and benefits that the card comes with. You could be at positive value on the card, meaning that you're getting more back than you're putting in the annual fee pretty easily. If you fully use the Lounge Buddy benefit, if you take them up on the Clear membership, again, you're going to have to pay a little bit, but really not that much. You're already ahead money. You're getting the same 3 points per dollar on travel and dining. It's Amex points compared to Chase points, and the trip delay coverage is not quite as good, but overall, a very similar card. So really what it comes down to is you're going to have to decide, like I'm going to have to in a few months, if you travel enough to really warrant having a card like the Sapphire Reserve and all of the benefits it has, or if you could get by with the Amex Green. So if you and like one other person, just a spouse or a partner, if just the two of you travel once, maybe twice per year, I really think you should take a hard look at the Amex Green to see if that's worth it, instead of coughing up $550 for the Sapphire Reserve. Now again, yes, the Sapphire Reserve has a lot of credits. The $300 travel credit brings it down to $250, which brings them closer in line. We don't know if these other benefits like DoorDash and everything are going to continue. They are for the foreseeable future, so right now the gap is a little bit tighter, where in full honesty, I will probably keep my Sapphire Reserve at least one more year as long as the DoorDash credit is still there. But if that goes away, and now we're comparing an effective annual fee of $250 to probably zero, or even just positive where you're not really paying in anything, it might be harder to justify keeping the Sapphire Reserve. And I really hope that Chase is taking notice and that they make the Sapphire Reserve more competitive rather than forcing us all out. My question for you guys is, what do you think? Do you have the Sapphire Reserve? Are you going to dump it? What are you going to do? What do you think? Let everybody know down in the comments. If you guys have any other comments or questions, please do leave them down below. I try to get to every single one. I've got some referral links for popular credit cards down in the description. I generally get a bonus if you do use them, so if you do, I want to say thank you in advance. Leaving a thumbs up on the video and subscribing would be massively appreciated. They're free and easy ways to help grow the channel. If you have any one-on-one questions, if you want some more detailed advice, you can get a hold of me through my Facebook page. The link is down in the description. Just drop the page a like, send me a message. We can talk about some strategy. That's all I've got for you this time, guys. See you at the next one. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure to drop a comment down below and give the video a thumbs up. Here's some other videos that I think you'll really like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter as well. See you at the next one.